If we were to flip genders for this movie and had this movie about men who went around knowingly drugging women and stealing from them, no one would be talking about this movie, and no one should be talking about this movie as is. Let's talk about this crap.
Rape me, my friend.
Okay, this movie. If in case you haven't noticed, usually when I pitch to the picture, I say what the name of this movie is. No, not doing it. Not for this movie. So let's get through the synopsis. Movie is a story about a bunch of hookers who, after 2008, the strip club isn't paying as well anymore, so they decide on their own that we're gonna drug men and steal their money. Yep, that's what this movie is. A lot of people are going to compare it to Casino, Wolf of Wall Street, things like that, where they try to justify people doing bad things and stealing. No, this movie's way worse. And not even good and well acted. This is a movie where the whole premise boils down to, hey, you know the Wall Street people who caused the collapse in 2008? Well, this is the year 2011, 3 years later. So let's just go about drugging people and stealing their money. I as well see the correlation as the person who has the mind of a 3-year-old. Wow, this movie is... It baffles me that anyone is talking about this movie for any type of award consideration. One, it's decently shot. It's serviceable. Two, it's not a very well put together story. It's those rinse and repeat. This is like, washing your hair. Lather, rinse, repeat. That's what it is, because that's what this movie is, more or less, for the whole running time. They show people getting drugged, they're taking their money, they're spending the money. This isn't even the good part, because they don't even spend the money on interesting things. They just spend it to go shopping so they can rip off more people. There is actually a scene in this movie where Ramona, played by Jennifer Lopez, and Destiny, played by Constance Wu, who cook up drugs to make men black out, and it's played for laughs. I'm date raping you. Does no one see what's wrong with this movie or this concept? Holy cow. Alright, Jennifer Lopez. People are talking about her for Best Supporting Actress in this movie. I don't know why. She's okay. At best. There's nothing about her performance or anything like that that says this is great acting. Like, even look at a bad movie like Long Shot earlier this year, starring Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen. Charlize Theron was excellent in that movie. I believed her. In this movie, it felt like Jennifer Lopez was just being Jennifer Lopez. She was decent. Awards? Hell no. Constance Wu, much like last year, I guess she was in Crazy Rich Asians. I don't remember her. That movie was so boring as well. But Constance Wu in this movie, she has no charisma. She's like, she has the charisma of fucking dry wood. She's just fucking boring on the screen. There was, I know the posters has a list of women who are in this movie, and I couldn't tell you who any of them are. There is one person who I want to give a particular shout out to. I think her name is Cardi B or something like that. First of all, her name is on the poster and she's only in 2 scenes. Thank God. So it's not as egregious as some other movies who put people's names on posters who are barely in the movie. But I don't know what, I was sitting there because I don't know her, I don't know what she's famous for, whatever. But she's in 2 scenes. I think she has like maybe 4 lines. In the first scene, she starts talking. And in the middle of it, I look at the person next to me and I was like, I don't know what language she's speaking. Like, I think it was English, but I've never heard words arranged like that before. And then in her last scene, her second scene, she says 2 lines in that scene. And then that's when I finally got it. She is speaking English, but I've never heard it performed like that. It sounded like a person having a series of small strokes. I don't know. This movie is fucking horrendous. The sound design. There's at one point where they go to someone's house to drug them and steal his money. That's very important. They're drugging people and stealing their money. I don't see anything wrong with that. Neither does this movie. And all of a sudden the sound design changes. It sounds like it's being taped. But then it led to nothing. I thought that was going to be the moment where they revealed they're being stung or something like that. But it's nothing. They just change the sound for no reason. There's also a point where Constance Wu, because the movie is filmed in a very basic way for this type of movie, where it's being told as an interview. So Constance Wu is talking to a girl being taped, and every once in a while they'll come back so you can realize it's being told through Constantine Wu's eyes, Destiny's eyes. And they start bleeping someone's name. And I was like, what? It's really odd. And it really feels weird in this movie that they would start bleeping a name. And they only did it, they mentioned the person's name twice and they bleeped it both times. But it never made any sense why. The movie's fairly standard. There's nothing extraordinary about it. And there is also really not much about it. Other than, you know, it has a montage of them shopping to show, yes, we too live in excess. And none of it means anything. This movie is really meaningless in all honesty. And I know I've heard people review Joker and say this could lead to someone mentally unstable doing criminal acts. I can see this leaving women going, hey, look, you know the crisis back in 1945? That gives me a reason to drug and steal from men in the year 2019. And unfortunately, a lot of this is played for bad laughter. Like, there's a part where, it's in the trailer where Jennifer Lopez is sent to an interrogation room and she has a camera. She's like, I'm going to call Tommy. And I didn't know who the hell Tommy was. I was like, what are you talking about? And it was played for laughter. And this movie makes fun of the victims while playing the strippers who were never victimized. Not one of them in this movie ever showed as being a victim. They have been strippers, they were paid, they were compensated for. They just went on their own. They decided to rape and drug and pillage men, and they're the heroes. Not one person in this movie is portrayed as having ever been victimized. That's what makes this movie even more infuriating. Once we get to the end, because you know where this movie is going, because it is a movie based on a true story, and it's a movie based on people robbing other people, so they're gonna get caught. They make the victims, they humiliate the victims. So, you drugged the man, you stole his money, and now you're going to make fun of him, as well as law enforcement, as well as the newspapers, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you, who has never been victimized in this movie. I don't get this movie. This movie's fucking terrible. This is easily one of the worst movies of the year. I'm going to give it a 0.5, and that's it. And I'm not even mentioning its name. If you've seen this movie, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure everyone's going to disagree with this review because apparently this is like 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I couldn't tell you why. This movie's fucking awful. I'm just like, I don't believe something like this is being spoken for award season. I really don't. This movie's fucking bad. It has no ounce of proper sympathy. It's a very cynical movie, and the fact that it tries as hard as it can to try to make these women who just want to live in the world, who have done nothing, out to be good guys, and I'm sorry, I just don't. Whatever, this movie's bad, so hopefully I'll do another movie to cleanse my palate of this one. But until then, later.